So hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Water Cooler Chat, where we talk about all things Livepeer, whether it's orchestrating, delegating, broadcasting, transcoding, or AI inference. We're here to ask questions and get answers. We got quite a few topics to go through. I'd like to start off real quick with Doug. Doug, would you like to give us a quick update on some ecosystem updates or anything relative to Livepeer that is happening from your side that you could share with us? Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I think the biggest thing, not going to come as a surprise to many people here. The big focus is on the AI initiative, and if you sort of have the context of where it is, where it's going. I think about 2 weeks ago there was a sort of early pre-alpha onboarding period of 5 orchestrators onto the AI subnet just to test out the onboarding experience and see if things were working functionally with tickets. And then as soon as that was confirmed, I think there was an onboarding of 15 orchestrators onto the subnet, and there was some early usage. There was a GIF competition that used the Tsunami app, and there was some early sort of like playground type interfaces built by a couple of the node operators, and that was great for testing the network. And then since then, been running at this more technical milestone of solving a bunch of sort of like well documented needs before it could open up to everyone being able to join the subnet. And that included better orchestrator selection algorithm and failover so that all the orchestrators were getting work and it wasn't all defaulting to Brad's node, I think was the recipient of a lot of the initial work. There was work on the on-chain discovery process so that the nodes didn't just get hard coded into the gateway operators, but actually could register and be discovered on chain, right? And then a number of other bugs and performance issues and whatnot have been in the works as well. So I think that's the big upcoming milestone. I think Rick will be able to weigh in maybe with any of the technical details if they're of interest. But I know it's sort of a, May 1st sort of technical completion milestone to sort of achieve that, and then in the weeks following that, probably mid-May, more of a communications and launch and announcement around that, along with being able to feature some of these early apps that are built on top as well.
Yeah, we can definitely dive into the selection algorithm of the AI jobs. I think that would be a pretty big point. That being said, there's also other questions around the new customer and the increase in work. Any updates from that, Doug?
I don't think I have any like substantive updates that are that different than what if you were on the call last week. I think Hunter popped in to share the latest. Essentially, um, there's a bigger customer. They've been slowly ramping up their traffic. They've been observing the performance. They have onboarded a certain percentage of traffic in a certain region. I think it's continuous work in progress, sort of unrelated to the Livepeer network itself and just related to them like iterating on the features that they need and the studio team supporting their testing and visibility into the playback performance, these sorts of things. So I think it's ongoing. I don't have specific updates in terms of timeline or milestones that would be highly useful to this group. But no, it's a top priority for the studio team, and hopefully will lead to a bunch of traffic for all the orchestrators to keep their GPUs busy transcoding.
Cool, awesome. Well, thanks for some of that. It's great to hear just from sort of high level kind of what's happening and keeping things in check. So do appreciate the update.
Sure thing.
All right. Okay, cool. Let's move on to some other topics. On the topic of AI and that kind of stuff, I would like to bring up the topic around the selection algorithm. I know that I have a gateway node running, and it's working for the Let's Generate.ai app, but I have not. I don't know if there's a new Docker release or anything, but right now it is like quite literally just stuck. doing job inference with with one orchestrator. So, kind of, Rick, do you want to give us an update on some of the AI stuff that's happening and efforts around the selection algorithm and reliability and what you've been working on?
Yeah, 100%. But only I want to check how much time Kuan has for this call. So maybe we should first go to the forum post about the app.
Oh, that's actually a good point. Kuan, are you sticking around? Could you give us 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your time?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Well, so Kuan, you just made a post. I think it was only a handful of hours ago. At least I saw it in Discord, and it was about this go-to-market strategy for the app that's been built. Do you want to give us a rundown, an overview of what that article or that forum post says, and what you're looking to gain out of it?
Sure, yeah. So first of all, if you haven't read that post, please go to the forum. It's called an AI Video Compute Consumer App Tsunami Go-to-Market Strategy. I will give you just sort of TLDR on what this post is all about. So we're roughly like 90% complete in terms of building a MVP that will be launched and help the AI video network launch probably somewhere in the May. So we think it's time to sort of think about how we can, if there's an effective way to introduce this app to the target user. So our target user likely are the people who pretty much enjoy using GIFs or consuming GIFs on social media or messaging apps. And we hope the app will enable these people to create stunning GIFs without having the skills of professional visual artists. So I think there's going to be lots of people like that out there. And then I sort of list the viral loop that we are designing in the app. It's pretty straightforward. Basically, people creating GIFs and sharing through social and messaging app. Other people see the GIFs, which has the watermark. They hopefully they will feel that the GIFs are compelling and they want to go to the website to download the app. So that's the pretty simple viral loop. And then, then I sort of laid out in terms of the growth hacking or go-to-market strategy, whatever you call it, typically falls down to two categories. How do we increase the motivation of the user? And second, how do we reduce the friction for people to use the product? So I listed some of these. I think in terms of increasing motivation, I suggest we continue doing our GIF competition that we did, I think a month ago, to incentivize more people to create GIFs. And then, in terms of how to do it, there are a few options. We can do in-app competition, where likely we're going to add some features to, encourage people to submit a GIF in the app and voting up, voting down, selected GIFs. Or we can do it on Twitter or X, that, we ask people to submit their GIFs publicly with hashtags that could also increase the exposure of the app of Livepeer as well. Or we can just do this in Discord like we did in the small GIF competition we did maybe a few weeks ago. Have a dedicated channel where people can post their GIFs, vote ups and downs, sort of thing. So that's sort of on the how do we increase motivation side. And then in terms of decreasing friction, there's a bunch of things. For example, we were thinking about expanding the app usage to the desktop as well, or like finding ways to how do we get our GIFs indexed by Giphy or Tenor or Tensor, sorry, I forget. These are like existing GIF communities. Maybe there's some other ideas we can build around integrating the app with Farcaster, although I don't know what is the most effective way to do that. But Farcaster certainly has a very booming ecosystem. So that's sort of like the majority of the things I wrote. And I think the spirit what we try to do in this go-to-market strategy is that we don't try to win everybody. We know some people are gonna like it, some people don't like it. We're just looking for people who are already liking it, are looking for this app, but don't know it exists yet. And we will be very strategic about what we do, what not to do, because there's only 2 of us on the team. So that's sort of the gist of it. I will pause here, and feel free to shoot any questions.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions for Kuan?
I actually, I just have a comment, and I was going to put this in the forum, but I actually started typing it up, and then something came up, so I didn't finish it. But I saw there were a couple of comments about being able to use just an image for the meme instead of actually using the going all the way through and doing a video. And I get the impression that you're hesitant or you don't like that idea. I was gonna put my vote in saying I think it would be a good idea to be able to use just the image because I find right now at this stage of you know video models that are at least openly available or pretty much available it in anything other than closed source um, just give very unreliable and unpredictable results. And a lot of times it ends up taking away from, the image that you like that looked good. And so my vote would be to allow meme generation off of an image and not just, I mean, you can have your choice, but I mean, there's been times where I'm like, oh, this is great. And then I go to like turn it into a video and I'm like, oh, now I can't even tell what's happening anymore. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, or if you don't want to do it, why you don't want to do it. Have the ability for image generation, or sorry, image memes, AI, enter AI generated image memes. I guess would be the right way to say it.
I think it's a fair point. I don't see why we shouldn't do it. But I don't think that was what I got from the forum post. I'm just reading through the comments. I think the first one was basically saying that we should highlight the text to image over GIF. Well, I think that defeats the purpose of this app. But based on what you said, I think it makes perfect sense. We can certainly, have some options in the middle of, but before you go to GIF creation, there's already options. Hey, share or download. Oh, I have to check if download can be done on a mobile. Because we're using PWA app, but yeah, I don't see why not.
And yeah, and again, it wasn't just to download the image. I mean, at least in my opinion, it was. I would like to be able to just uh, to generate the meme from a single image. If that's. I mean,
Yeah.
and what's also kind of tricky is I don't know if this is the way it's planned to be when it is released. Like right now, when you generate that, boom, it's going up to the showcase, and you don't get a chance to see it, or like, maybe you want to run it again. It just didn't come out the way you wanted because a lot of times running it a second time will give you a totally different result. So I don't know if the plan is like you get one shot and it just go and it's I don't actually I don't know how would it work. I mean, if you're using this, is it something you would download and then upload, or do you put in like where it's going to end up and it goes there?
Sir, I'm actually. So can you tell me what was the thing? So you mean in the last step after GIF was generated, it goes to showcase? What do you mean?
Yeah, I think that's how it happens, right? When you generate it, doesn't it just go right to the showcase right now?
Once generated, you're
Or
still
not
on the
memory.
third step. Yeah. You still stay on the third step. The GIF shows up. Is that what you mean by showcase? Or
Like it gets when it gets, it shows up on the Discord forum right now. Like I think it was like after you hit generate, doesn't it just generate it and post it right to the showcase without you getting a chance to look at it before it goes up?
it's
I
it's
mean,
it's support it's displaying the app. Like posting to Discord channel was just basically um a way for us. It's early, like sort of like us we're in the debugging, interact, like collecting feedback stage. Also for us to learn how people are using this app. We're posting to Discord channel. That's not really a feature of the app. You should be able to see the GIF in your app once it's generated, unless there's a bug we don't know.
right.
And
Well, I mean,
not
I can see it, but and again, this may be just part of the testing. But when I'm, when I'm seeing it, it's already posted. So I just didn't know if what's
oh,
the
so you don't want this thing to be posted. You want to be able to sort of
Well, I'd like to
just
see. I mean, I'd like to see it first because what if I'm like, oh, you know
oh.
what, that would just came out bad. But I know if I run it again, there's a good chance that it's not gonna just like the face isn't gonna just explode inside, and it'll look really weird. Maybe the background will move, and that's what I want. So
I
maybe I'd
think
like to
that's
have like a
okay.
second shot at it at running the video part of it again.
I think right now once you generate that GIF, it just sort of stayed on on the database. You probably have to create a new one to do it. yeah, that's how it's designed right now. I don't think I'm against like edit like deleting, like we don't have the feature to delete it or editing it yet, because it's not like I'm against it. It's just
Right.
like we haven't really haven't time to build it yet.
That's fair enough. But and I guess but like for the release, how would someone actually like they would generate the meme and then they would download it and then upload it to wherever they want
Once you generate a
to
meme,
use it?
there's a share button on it, and then once you open
Okay,
there's a
so
tag you
you'll
can
always
put.
get a chance to look at it. You'll get a chance to look at it, and you're like, oh, this I just don't like. I don't want to post that up. It's not what I was trying to get. You don't. It's not like
Yeah,
it's gonna go. You don't. You're not gonna like say, here's where I want it to go. Hit generate, and it goes there. You'll get that. You share it afterwards.
right. So once you don't have to share it. Like if you don't share it, like that's it. Like it's just yeah. I mean, I think yeah, you're right.
Right. Okay.
I mean,
All
so I'm
right.
surprised you don't see this showing up on your screens. So maybe we can take this offline to see if there's any bug or not. It should show up just on the same page once the GIF is
I do. I
generated. It
do. I
show up.
do see it. I do see it after it's
Uh,
generated. But again, for the way it is right now, it's also posted at the same time. So if I
right.
wanted if I wanted to run it again, I would have to. Uh, I mean, either way, it gets posted. So
Yeah, I mean, if people don't like the posting to Discord, I mean, it's just sort of like for us to test. We can definitely take it out. Um, you asked for this
again,
the
I don't
first
know
one.
if it's just for testing, no problem. I just wanted to make sure that, or I think it would be weird if you're saying like for the final release version, if I'm going to like, I know I want to share it here, I'm going to hit generate and it gets posted up with it before I get to see it. I feel like even for that, I mean, again, if you just want to collect and see everything that comes out for testing, I totally get it. But I think it's weird that when you hit generate, it gets posted without you getting to see it first and saying, yeah, I approve.
Okay. I mean, this is just testing feature. I mean, if people, we can definitely take it out.
Like I said, for testing, it's fine. But
Mm.
uh, but yeah, I think just I guess for a release, it would be nice to.
Good.
I
I
just
like
wanted to
I
make sure
like
you get to
people
see
who
it
are
first.
being serious about the gift they create. That's great.
Yeah. So those are my 2 cents on it.
Thank
And
you.
I will post that into the forum after the call, and I can just
Please do.
concentrate. I'm not good at multitasking, so I'll do it afterwards.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
And Papa Bear, about the quality, Marco already found a model that's a little bit better quality, I think, so we can try that out as well. I posted in the chat here because I also saw the artifacts. Will that help?
You asking
Um,
me, will that help? Or are you asking Kuan?
No, so we can try out the models as well. I think the models, but Marcus knows it better a little bit. But that model could be a little bit better if you see in the chat here. You see some movies, and the animations look a little bit smoother. But I'm not sure if it's text
Yeah,
or
no, I mean,
image.
I've seen the stuff Marco's working on, or is posted, and I think it definitely looks better than the pipeline that we're running now, the combination of model and pipeline we're running now. Um,
Yeah, so we
that's
can get it updated
currently not
to.
an option, so yeah, I didn't want to throw in more stuff than what will probably be in the initial release.
yeah. So we already appending like sort of negative prompt in the backend, like no like 3 legs or something. Somehow it doesn't really work. So we
Yeah, I can
can.
tell you from my experience with current models is that generally negative prompts when you do things like that used to be a thing like where you'd say like no low quality no and worst quality and put all these like deformed hands and all that kind of stuff for negative prompts. Those don't really do much. It's more of like if you're trying to do like a baseball and you keep getting like and you just want a baseball, but you're getting the whole baseball field in there, you would put in like, like fields or baseball field, and then you're not going to get the baseball field. You're just going to get the ball, hopefully, or if there's something that keeps showing up in your image, but it's not really going to help the quality from what I've seen and from what seems to be kind of the general consensus, especially on like the newer models. I mean, that may have been a thing in the past. I see people have these crazy long prompts of like, no deformed faces and like no extra teeth and all this stuff. But model's not trying to make something with bad teeth unless you're trying to make a monster or something like that. So it's not, you telling it, no, I don't want those bad teeth. It unfortunately, that doesn't help it get better quality. It's more really to just if there's certain things that are popping up in your image that you don't want. Again, like a baseball player and you just want like the jersey or something like that, then you would use it for like no people or something like that. If you want a scenic view and you keep getting people in it, you know. So that's a little tip from someone who's done probably made way more AI images than I should have, because they're really just doing it for hobby.
Yeah, I saw the same behavior with the negative prompt. It didn't work for me, so I just dropped it. So.
Yeah, I very rarely use them again. I use it if like something is showing up in my image that I don't want. Like if I want a beach scene and it's showing like a bunch of people at the beach, I can put in like people or humans, things like that. And then it works fairly well.
Yeah, but I think it's an important point. So if you think, and then more people think, that the quality of the GIFs are not up to par, I'm happy to look at the other models and see if we can replace that for Kuan and CJ's DApp there, or for the DApp of the SPA. So I think for that we need to get some feedback from like the broader community on that, if that's really a breaking point there.
Yeah, I guess that would be something to ask people around. I mean, I personally I'm really liking the Real Viz 4.0 Lightning versus the SDXL. I mean, I find the images just coming out like it's not even close, just as for the base image, which generally leads to a better video. Again, so you don't know what it's going to do when you hit that video button, but I find the quality just not even. I mean, in my opinion, it's not even close.
Yeah, I saw that as well. So it's a good point to take into account when we fully release the app, I think, Kuan. So we can experiment a little bit.
Which model do you prefer, Papa Bear?
It's called Real Viz XL 4.0 Lightning. I know it's a real short and easy thing to remember, but I can.
Yeah, I was looking it up as well.
Real Viz Lightning. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Lightning or lighting?
It's I always pronounce it lightning, but not
Lightning. Yeah, no, it is lightning.
Yeah,
Lightning.
And Marco posted the link to the actual
there you
model.
go.
So that's all real, like more realistic photos, style-wise. Am I right?
I mean, it can do realistic photos, but it can also do
okay.
Other stuff too. I've got some very futuristic looking cars and stuff like that right now on my screen that I was playing with just a minute ago. I can do cartoons. It does actually really good cartoons. Again, that's just a matter of just prompting it properly. And a lot of the stuff Marco's been working on with like styles. I guess Marco's not in here talking, but he's obviously listening. I think he's calling it like styles or style, like where you can pick a style that you want, and then he's doing the prompting on the back end so that the user doesn't have to do it, but you can do like cartoons and pixelated images or pixel art. And I'm just going off the top of my head here, but so you can like you can append to the prompt that the user puts in, so that they don't have to really be a prompt expert to do it. I'm trying to see where Marco's got here. Yeah, like cinematic, digi-art, and fantasy, and then I don't know exactly what he's adding on the prompts unless it says here. But I'm sure he knows what he's adding on there. Looks like he's just doing a negative prompt actually, from what I'm seeing, or at least that's what's showing up. I don't know if he's adding stuff that we can't see.
Yeah, he said styled Laura's. He also showed that menu to me as well. So it's something we can look at. So I will definitely look at this pull request. That's on my list. So I'm currently focusing on like the 1 May deadline to get it stable there. But I already have one pull request I want to merge from Marco. So Marco, thanks a lot for creating all this pull requests. It's really nice to see the community participate that quickly.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to Marco too. He's been getting stuff incorporated really fast.
Yeah, he's
I cannot speed that. Keep up.
Great. Rick, okay, cool. Kuan, did you want to talk any bit more about the app, go to market, anything else in particular?
No, I just, I think it's good to just let the post marinate for a little while, make sure everybody can read it, have time to share thoughts before comment further.
I like the idea of, you know, figuring out ways you can incorporate it somehow with Farcaster, or like Lens Protocol or something. There's a lot of really interesting creative stuff that's happening there. Like I'm more heavy on the Lens Protocol side, and you know they just launched the like the bonsai tokens or whatever, and so I got airdropped $1,800 of these tokens where it's really meant for me to be minting other people's art, and now people on Lens are making significant amounts of like real income from these type of mintings, and so you know it's they've really built in interesting economics for rewarding creators. So I'm wondering if that would be a good platform or like ecosystem to go after, or like you said, Farcaster. I'm not on there as much, but yeah, like I think there'd be interesting economic things that you could maybe implement into this.
So what's the name of the token they are airdropping on Lens?
It's called here. Hold on, it's on my phone. I gotta just bring it up real quick. Because I've got like 2,000
Bonsai. Okay.
bonsai. That's it. So I got I got quite a few. So like people can these water cooler chats. People can mint them for free. So I don't charge any bonsai for these water coolers. And I am absolutely flattered that people mint them. Like the last one got 11 mints. The one before, I'm getting about 11 to 15 mints per water cooler chat. So yeah, that's cool for a free mint. But so that's like really they gave all Lens handles like this economic value token that airdropped, and so people are using them, and it's super active right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think sort of
Go ahead, Kuan.
so I think sort of the thing we have to decide is like if you go heavy on Farcaster Lens, then you're basically within this crypto community. That there's pros and cons, and then if you don't go down these routes of, you know, you go to a more inclusive platform like Discord or Twitter X, you might be able to reach more like maybe not only Web3 but also Web2 potential targets. That's I think a conscious decision you have to make.
Really good point. Yeah, where do you put your energy?
Right.
You're already taking you know, this Livepeer asset, which is, you know, generation and things, and now you got to couple it with like crypto degens on like these hidden social networks. It's like, yeah, you might want to just stick to the broader community of like who wants to make interesting gifts in general, right?
Yeah. I don't have an answer yet, but I'll probably have to like whiteboard it, list the like pros and cons and the priorities, so and then figure out.
Yeah, what I was going to say is like, I like Titan's like sort of feedback around a specific theme. Like if I look at the forum post, I see a bunch of possibilities, right? Like maybe there's GIF competitions, maybe there's Discord based share mechanisms, etc. But for any one of these, you have to like be opinionated, be specific. It's a lot of work to design a really good viral loop around one mechanic. Like if it's all GIF competitions, then you want to build an incredible experience for GIF competitions, like within the app and in the surrounding platform where you're hosting those competitions, right? If you want to be all in on Farcaster and Warpcast, you need to have like a strong opinion about what GIFs bring to that platform and how the integration is tight. So I think, in general, as community members are responding to the post, I think like specific ideas or feedback on the concepts are probably most useful, and also probably like, you know, what Con was talking about before, finding, you know, a few users that are just actually really passionate where this is like solving a problem for them and it's fitting into their workflow and they're continuing to use it every day. um, that's like the important thing to latch onto early. So if anyone finds themselves actually using this app beyond just, you know, seeing what gets shared to the showcase channel or experimenting for the sake of Livepeer, I think sharing that feedback about, you know, how it's actually bringing you delight in your your day-to-day social media or messaging experience or whatnot would be good signal, so we can amplify that.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. And just to add to what you said, I think Doug, Rick, both mentioned that okay, they do use Tsunami app, but they don't like using this on mobile. For their workflow, they are more likely to use it on desktop. So that's a very important feedback for us, like to sort of help us to. A reason why I listed that as extending the app to desktop usage, that was based on some of their feedback like this. Thank you.
Yeah, to add to that, I really like the idea of creating this GIFs really custom based, because I want to send it to my friends just to mock them on things and stuff, and I want to use it in Discord. And if it has a desktop app, I see myself using it really, so that would really help.
I mean, as someone who actually makes a lot of memes from and uses them quite a bit, I've always done it on desktop, and using this app on the phone has been a first for me, and I definitely prefer desktop. I mean, I'm older, so I'm more of a desktop person anyways, but I definitely give a vote for a desktop app would be nice.
So I just have a question. All right, actually, before I move on to, I kind of want to talk about models and things around the network itself. Well, we can dump into that, but I don't know if that specifically includes Kuan's app. So Kuan, I know, just out of the essence of time, did you kind of cover everything? I think the idea is, please chime into the forum chat, provide your feedback there. Bring some ideas to the table, and then kind of get some ideas on maybe where to go next, kind of thing, right?
Yes, thank you very much.
Very good. Yeah. So Kuan, thanks so much for your time. Do appreciate you to come here and do that, and congratulations on getting this far. We're all rooting for you. So yeah, please post in the forum and give your feedback.
Thank you. I'm getting back to work now. Bye.
Cool. Okay, cool. Let's keep diving into this a little bit. So I want to quickly touch on models real quick, and this idea. So obviously, I've never even heard of this. What is it called? The Viz. It's one that you posted.
Real Vision.
Real Vision, yeah. So,
Yeah, real
there's a ton of models coming out, it seems, and different.
There's a ton of models that exist in period. If you haven't looked around Civet AI, you can spend days just looking at different models. I mean, a lot of them are very similar, but there's no shortage of open source models.
So what are there models that don't have guardrails on there, like not safe for work, models?
Yeah, this one. Yeah, you have to usually add that in if you don't want that. That would be a negative prompt you'd put in. I was actually going to suggest that or mention that when I was talking about negative prompts earlier. Is like a lot of times you'll put in NSFW in your negative prompt if you don't want people making stuff that wouldn't be safe for work, or you could have it even more in depth than that. But yes, I would say a good portion of the open source models don't have guardrails on them.
Oh, I didn't actually know that. Because
yeah, you can still use them, in a safe way by again putting it, appending onto the prompt, or putting a negative prompt in that the user doesn't even have to be aware of. But I guarantee you that the Midjourney's models can do all kinds of stuff that they're keeping you from doing. If I'm sure in their lab they can create stuff that wouldn't be safe for work.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because I have a friend that wants to make a robot, love website where you are interacting with these girlfriends or girls or whatever, and have this. I don't know. He has a whole pitch deck about it. He wants to go raise capital, and I was like, oh, like, I wonder if we could host that on Livepeer. Like, would that be, would the network be interested in hosting models that are specific to that? Are there models specific to that? I'm not too familiar. Like what would a guardrail look like?
There are models that are like geared towards that specifically, but again, even a lot of just the photorealistic ones don't have guardrails so that they can do nude, things pretty well. And then on top of that, when you get into LoRa's, like Marco was mentioning earlier, there's specific ones for, like, I don't want to get too graphic, but for all types of acts that it would help you model things, doing things that are not safe for work. Let's leave it at that.
There you
And
go.
poses,
Yeah, because
things along
there's
those lines.
there's this platform. It's called unstable diffusion, right? And it's literally that, right? And so it's like, what type of models or prompts are, as a network, are we interested in hosting, or even advertising? Like if that becomes the next big boom, like, does Livepeer want to be, would it be okay with being known for hosting the largest, AI generative, not safe for work platforms out there, right? So just interesting conversation I was having with this individual, and I was like, I actually don't know a bunch about this. So
If there's an economic incentive, I think people, orchestrators will host it. About if we want as a community, I cannot speak that, but
sure, yeah, definitely. Okay, cool, good to know. I didn't realize that most of the open source models don't have guardrails.
Just did a quick test with SDXL, which we're using, as our base model, and it can do nude stuff.
There you go, confirms. Nude pop-up, nude bears, right? Is that what we're?
These were not bears. No, these were not bears. But actually, I did see a bear that came out with something that was. I don't even think a bear has something that looks like that. But I did have one of those pop up the other day. It was kind of creeped me out.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we're in a whole new world,
Yeah.
man. There's a whole new interesting world out
Yeah.
there. With that being said, I want to continue down the AI route, but Rick, I wanted to talk about the selection algorithm within Go Livepeer. We famously love choosing Brad for our initial subnet testing, and right now mine is, let's
It's
generate
glued to
AI
Brad, so.
is glued to mine. I literally just I don't know how or why, but it just goes to mine. So
Yeah, I can explain that. So well, I'm glad to say that I fixed that today. So it will be in the code base. I tried to do it tonight already, but I want to do some tests before. So tomorrow I will add it in, so that will be fixed. So basically, there are multiple things that go there on there. So the first thing is that we currently we wrap the selection algorithm from the transcoding side. So I don't know how well people know know that algorithm, but I know it now really well from going through it. But in the end, it's for a transcoding session. It's really beneficial to select transcoders or orchestrators twice if you already know that the latency there and the performance you have is good. So basically, from the IE side, AI, it's a little bit more complicated there because people only have one GPU, for example, if they have small systems. And if you have a really big system, you will have 5 GPUs. You can do currently 5 jobs at the same time. So we run out of capacity really quickly. So that's not ideal. But that's not the big problem there. The big problem now in the code was that we do like an N-based check. So we, for example, go through the orchestrators 5 or 6 times there. And in the end, if it will select Brad multiple times, you will see that that it's not enough tries to get to all the orchestrators. So I fixed that today, and I will get it into the code base as quickly as possible. Possibly, I think tomorrow morning.
great. Oh, I'm excited to test it out. Will it get pushed to the Docker image?
Yeah, it will get pushed to the Docker. So we automatically build our Docker images. So basically, what happens? I will merge it into the video brand, AI video brands, and then. Yeah, it's basically everybody can use it. Like if you pull a new Docker container there, and there are a lot of optimizations we still can do on the selection algorithm. I looked in a lot of optimizations that we can do. For example, you can see that that you currently we don't queue request. So if you have a request coming, you have another request coming like some milliseconds later or a half a second later. It can happen that the request that came in later that it gets handled earlier if it finds an orchestrator quicker than the other request. So that's something I have also already implemented some stuff for, but it's less pressing currently than just fixing the algorithm that it looks for all the orchestrators. So that will defer. The latter part will be in the code base tonight or tomorrow.
I have a question for a down the road selection optimization. Is there any like thought or about doing something like we currently do with transcoding, where we benchmark, we have like a test thing where we benchmark the speed that an orchestrator can do jobs out. I know we don't use that for selection, but I mean, there's a huge difference in time that it takes to do certain models on different GPUs, and it seems like being able to optimize the compute power could really increase the capacity and user experience of the network. If 4090s were going to people that had or sorry, if video jobs were going to 4090s instead of 4060s, or I don't know, 3070s or 2080s or something like that. Because I mean, I've seen like where I can get a video back in 30 seconds or less, and I've also seen where it takes 3 minutes to get a video back. And it just seems like that would be an optimization that would be really beneficial.
Yeah, so it's a really good point. There is already the latency check in there. So the latency in the case of the AI, it's not based on how quick you react there to the discovery, but it's how quick you do the job. So that will already be weighted. But I think current
Oh, wait. Can you explain that then? Maybe I misunderstood. Did you say that earlier? And did I not hear that, or did I not understand?
No. I did not go into
Oh,
that much depth yet. So I think that's the biggest problem there. So basically, we wrap the selection algorithm of the transcoding side, of course. So that will be based on stake, if I remember it correctly. It will be based on price, somewhat there, and the other ones I don't know out of my head. I have to look it up, but it will be the same selection algorithm there. So we also already look at latency. So if you respond quicker to a job, you will get the job in the selection. You will get it easier, or you will get selected easier than somebody that takes a longer time doing the job. Yeah.
so it's not just the response latency to the job; it's the entire time it takes for the job to complete.
Yeah, so that's what I saw in the code base today. So I have to go dive into a little bit deeper on that, but that's how I understood it today. So it will be the full response time that's taken as a latency here. But I can double check that for you, and I will put it in the AI video chat.
And then another question I have related to that is, um, I'm assuming that it optimizes for models that are warm, or is that just if your model's warm, there's a better chance that you're gonna get the job back faster?
Yeah, 100%. So the thing we currently do, we have two pools. Those pools are again generated based on if your orchestrator is discovered, so it responds to a request. If we have a known latency there, if you have a known latency and it's lower than the max latency we want, we will select you sooner. But also from that, we have two groups. We have the warm group and we have the cold group. So first we will try, of the selection algorithm tries to look if there's somebody in the warm group that responds and that can do the job. So it selects an orchestrator, it sees if there's capacity to do the job, and if that orchestrator can do the job, it will do the job, it will get the response back, and the job was handled. If there's no capacity there, it goes to the next orchestrator, it selects it. Sometimes there the double selection happens. For example, if your orchestrator got a job, you're working on that job, then our system thinks, we already have somebody working on a job, so let's try it again. So it tries to send you a job. If you have a second GPU, of course, you can do another job. If you don't have one, we will remove you for that session from the selection algorithm until you have done your job. So then you will go back into the selection algorithm. So that's for the mostly how it works in the groups. And then you have a warm and a cold group. And if we don't have an orchestrator in the warm group, so nobody has it warm, we will move to the cold group. So if you're dynamic loading, and currently we advise against it because we still have to do some optimizations there. But if you're dynamic loading models, you can get selected if the network already is at that full capacity there, and all the warm orchestrators or the orchestrators that have the model warm are already in use.
Got it. Oh, sorry, one more question. I know that on the, I don't know if it's the current release or if it was the one before for the, if you're running as a gateway, you weren't able to select certain orchestrators, or it ignored that if you had the orc adder, I think it's the orc adder flag in there. Is that still the case? I asked because like
Shouldn't
when I'm testing models, a lot of times I don't want, I'm trying to get it to go to a certain machine, and I don't care if it's I maybe have a reason to like prefer a certain machine over another one. And I know for a while I couldn't do that, and things were getting
Oh,
really slow for me when I was testing.
yeah, it should adhere to the org list or I call it org addresses flag. So that surprised me a little bit, but you could
Okay,
open.
I can try it again. I can try it again and make sure. I thought you were the one. I thought you told me that it wasn't uh, listening to that for a certain build, but I actually didn't. I don't know. I don't know that I tested it. I just removed them and just went with whatever
I think
whatever I got.
I think what currently happens, it doesn't. You cannot set a specific pricing. Therefore, broadcaster at the orchestrator side, we don't have that in yet. So, but I think if you do the org selection, because in my testing I also use that flag a lot for my to select my own machine. For me, it works. But if you have some issues, you can open an issue at Go Livepeer. So the repository, I think we have I just made an IE bug report button there. You can click and report the issue, or just send a DM to me. I will also record it.
I will test it and see what I get, and if I see an issue, I will definitely make an official GitHub issue.
Amazing. Thanks a lot. That's really helpful.
Sure.
So I think, do people still have questions about the selection algorithm? So I will fix that. Yeah, like I said, probably tomorrow it will be in the code base.
No, I'm pretty excited for it.
Nice, yeah, me too. It combined with the discovery, it will lead to a stable system. So that's I'm targeting for the backend side. I'm targeting 1 May, or like Doc said. Doc. And after that, of course we will do the bigger release or the public releases in the weeks after that. But for like the stable system, I need like the selection algorithm working. I need the discovery. We have it in already. So with the alpha group we already have people that can be automatically discovered for broadcasters. And I have some things I need to finish the documentation. I'm writing that, and I want to have the ability for orchestrators to have, if they have multiple GPUs, to load the same model multiple times there. So for example, you can, if you think that one model is more, because currently for the D app we only have 2 models on the subnet currently. If you think one model makes more money on that or wins more tickets, you could do that as well. I want to have that in. And lastly, I'm working on some silent errors that will improve the setup experience for orchestrators and broadcasters. So you will not have to wait for the runner to time out before you know that something is wrong. You will just get an error there.
Cool. A question. I went to the docs page for the image to video, and there's like frames per second and a couple other settings. Can't remember if I asked this already, but I put in, I wanted to increase the frames to 25 frames per second, but and I know the limitation is you only can get 25 frames, so I thought you would end up with a 1 second video, right? But that's not the case. So when you adjust the frames per second, nothing changes, even if you go to 1 frame per second or 25. Is that just because the 25 or the 7 frames per second is just hard coded into the AI runner, or is it just not accepting frames per second kind of argument?
So I know that the model can do that. So that's a really good question. I'm quickly looking it up. So you say the image to video, let's see it, frames per second. So currently we don't hard code it, so it should work.
Huh. Because I was
Yeah, that's definitely an adjustable parameter. I don't know what the what the JSON would be you'd send for that, but we can look that up and you can add that to your to what's being submitted for the job. I know, like in Comfy, you can adjust both of those individually, but again, still 25 cap. So, but you can make it longer by making it 3 frames per second if you want.
Yeah, because I was sending the JSON data to be like, oh, like FPS is 25, and it just wasn't changing anything. Because then I was looking at ways to like stitch videos together with FFmpeg, and I was like, oh, we can make it 25 frames per second, stitch 3 videos together, and you get this kind of makeshift 3-second long higher quality video out of it. It's kind of what I was looking into. But for some reason I could just never adjust the frames per second with any prompts that I gave. So I'm not sure if there's a certain way to format it, whether it needs to be like a string or a number or an integer, or like if that matters.
I think it needs to be. I'm not really sure. If you use which docs are you talking
Trying to
about? Are
look
you
it
talking?
up now.
So I think it's an. Let me check. It's an integer, and I can. But which docs were you talking about? Is it like
the port 8001 or 2 or whatever? And
Swagger docs.
Yeah, so I was pushing it through with the FPS of 25 with like 25 as an integer, but it wasn't returning that.
Yeah, so I also shared a little bit internally with the Alpha group. I shared like the docs I'm working on. I think you can see my screen, and there you see all the.
It's loading, one sec here. Oh. Rick, he went away. What happened? It was loading and then he disconnected.
Oh, I think I have so many screens to share, like my screens. Maybe it got overloaded.
This is also being recorded, so I don't know if you want to share this to the internet.
Yeah, I have it. It's no problem. I have
lockdown.
Only that screen on.
Cool.
Yeah. But for some reason it crashed. But there is like on the documentation we have like documentation on all the integers that's there. So I'm not gonna try because then I'm crash again. I think I need to
send a screenshot, something like that.
Yeah, I will do a screenshot.
Cool.
Just to be sure that it doesn't crash again.
Yeah, good idea. Because I would love to be able to allow the adjusting of the FPS integer default 6. Yeah, so I have to look into why it's not allowing or not working as I expect. Cool. Okay, I'll keep looking into it. But if someone else can confirm that you can in fact get 25 FPS, then just let me know so that I know that there's hope.
Last time I checked it, it worked. So, but if people have issues, especially on this time, you can create an issue for the IE bug report on like the Go Livepeer. And if you have an issue or you want more with models or the pipelines in particular, you can do it at the IE worker repo.
Cool.
I'll send them in the chat.
Sounds good. Okay. With that being said, that's a lot of AI talk, which I appreciate. Let's keep going down some of the stuff. Authority. Is Authority with us? There he is. WSL2. Talk to me. What is what issues are you running into, sir?
All right. Okay. So I tried WSL2 for the first time. I got the AI stuff to work, and it seemed okay. But now, after testing transcoding with it, I'm a little concerned that WSL2 might not be workable for any Livepeer stuff. But I'm not 100% sure. With transcoding, I benchmarked some A4000s and the results were absolutely god awful. And then a second issue, which might be connected, is I can't patch drivers if I wanted to try something like my 4090s on WSL2, and I found that it's because WSL2 just pulls Windows drivers, and if you try to update drivers in WSL2, it just won't work because the packages are being held by Windows. I'm not sure if there's a way to update and install drivers directly on WSL2 if maybe you use like a full-on installer for NVIDIA on Windows. But so far, I don't think WSL2 is any good for Livepeer. And I know Frank is here. I'm not sure if he's listening in. I'm curious if you've been able to patch drivers or if you've got any better success than I have, because the transcoding, the benchmark, I mean, you can't use it for Livepeer in the state that I got it in.
No, actually, I am just using WSL2 for AI stuff, not for transcoding. All my server for transcoding use Linux, so I can't help you on that. Sorry.
Well, the issue I'm finding is if there's an issue with GPU pass through on WSL2, then it would affect AI as well. At least in my opinion, that's how it would work. I haven't run any benchmarks. I ran out of time, but I'm a little concerned using it as like the main source of doing AI work.
I think it's okay for high on my side. I'm not sure. I do some benchmark too, and it looks like it's okay. So I don't have any problem with the driver actually. So I don't know.
Just to chime in, WSL will not do the actual GPU pass-through on Windows Hyper-V. So you need to look into passing it through Hyper-V and then see if WSL can play a part in your management.
Well, the GPUs, they are being detected, and I am benchmarking the GPUs themselves, so I would assume they are being passed through or it wouldn't work at all, correct?
Correct, but WSL itself will not do the pass-through. The Windows kernel is doing it, and the pass-through is managed by Hyper-V on Windows.
And Avi, you're talking about WSL2 because I know that there's a difference between WSL2. It has a lot more graphics capabilities, but I haven't used either one.
Actually, I'm not talking about WSL at all. So the version, as far as I'm concerned, is irrelevant to the issue because it's not doing the pass-through. The pass-through is done by the Windows kernel, and the interface that you have to sort of configure these features is Hyper-V, which is why you won't be able to do it on anything that isn't Windows Pro.
Right. I mean, but regardless, the issues are there. I'm just curious if they can be solved. Like, can you even download Linux drivers on WSL2, or are you stuck using Windows drivers?
I haven't played with WSL2 or Windows. I've only run Windows as Linux machines for the past 12 years, so I can't help you. I can try and spin up a Windows 11 host and give this a go, but I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah, no stress. The only reason I wanted to try this for transcoding was because I did 2 new builds, one for AI, one for transcoding. And the transcoding build, I used a very new motherboard, and I'm having a ton of compatibility issues on Linux, like no internet and unable to install the drivers. So was pretty much stuck. Figured I'd try Windows and WSL2, and that shit the bed as well. So back to square one.
Yeah, so from our team, our side, we are planning to add the Windows documentation in there before 1 May. So I am going to experiment myself. I know that Jason from Everest, he was able to get most things working there from the IE side, but I don't know if he already experimented with transcoding as well. So, but
Yeah,
I will
I'd
add
rather
like Windows doc.
Yeah, I'd rather not use Windows if possible, but yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what options I have.
Yeah, so yeah, I will try to get it to work for the IE. So the only problem is only when you're trying to transcode and trying to patch it, right?
Yeah, AI seems fine. I haven't run any benchmarks there to compare, but yeah, when benchmarking, the results are just abysmal compared to when doing it directly on Windows.
Okay, that's great to hear.
That's it though.
Have you tried it the other way around, running Windows as a virtual machine and passing the GPU through to it?
That would require me to run Linux as the base, correct?
Correct.
Right, but I can't do that because the motherboard has Linux compatibility issues, so I can't connect to the internet if I'm using Linux.
Is it a network card driver issue?
I mean, I don't know because there's literally nothing I can do. I can't download the drivers manually because it requires make, and make requires internet connection to install.
Oh, is this
Linux
your
is
motherboard?
just bust right now until I figure out that issue.
'Cause
Yeah, this is my motherboard. I don't have a card, a network card, or anything.
Because I had the same problem with a card or a motherboard that I had. I bought a new one, but for whatever reason, Ubuntu like server would not recognize like the network card or anything, and so I had to switch to Ubuntu desktop, and that fixed it. So,
It's
Out of
related to
curiosity,
what
what brand were you running, Titan, of the motherboard? Do you know?
I do. I could tell you in a couple seconds.
So yeah, I think Marco also made a comment about asking which OS you were installing, Authority, because
Yeah,
you could
so
use
it
Arch
was.
Linux.
Yeah, I've never used Arch Linux before. I was trying Ubuntu desktop. I think it was 22.04, and I tried a few different ones within that 22 range. I haven't gone back to like 18.4 or anything because I figured compatibility issues with newer motherboards would be worse the further back you go.
So this is a Asus motherboard. Asus Prime Z590A. And
I was just curious if it was an ASRock.
Yeah.
I'm using an
Yeah,
ASRock, and I
mine's.
did a little.
So
I did some research and found out ASRock has a bunch of compatibility issues with Linux, which I was shocked to see that there were a lot of people.
Yeah,
complaining about
freaking hilarious. Love
Yeah.
that. Yes, I built two ASRock builds, and the WRX90 is the one that's having issues. And there's very few documentation available for it.
I would seriously try Ubuntu desktop and just see if that works.
I have.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I have.
Oh,
Yeah.
Can you take a video of Linux attempting to boot up on it so we can see where it fails?
In 10 days I can, yes. I was testing right as
Yeah,
I
so
was
we can
leaving
just see
for
where
vacation.
exactly it's failing in the boot process. Because a WRX
Oh,
series
it boots. It boots and it gets to the desktop. I just cannot get internet. Like I can use
that
Linux.
sounds like a network card driver issue. I think that should be easily fixed. Whenever you have access to this machine next, we can troubleshoot it. Just ping me on Discord.
Yeah, I would think at the very least, if you just bought a cheap network card just to get online, you can probably get that onboard.
Unfortunately, finding a plug and play like a network adapter is proving to be quite a challenge. But I have spoken to Brad, and he might send me one that he believes will work if you just plug it in. A lot of them require drivers or work only on Windows. I did buy one on Amazon for $10. It did not work. So that was disappointing.
What
really,
about
any Intel or Mellanox card should just work? The kernel has drivers built into it.
Nah, not for me. Unfortunately, I grabbed one off Amazon. It did not detect it at all.
Is this just for the
We can
AI work?
this when you have access.
No, AI work was fine on Windows. Again, I have two separate builds. I ran WSL2 for the AI stuff. Everything worked fine. I'm just a little nervous about seeing the performance of transcoding and if that will carry over to AI. But that machine is fine. The second machine is for a bunch of A4000 GPUs. And that's the one that's having issues. That's the one with the newest motherboard.
And you're trying to do transcoding with it?
Correct.
So why don't you just use the Windows binary?
I don't want to use the Windows binary.
Okay. All right. Say no more. I just was like, wait. There is a way around this. You could just use the Windows binary, but if you don't want
Yeah,
to,
I also
then,
yeah.
no
There's
worries.
there's another reason as well. I do want to test this on Linux as well because I was running into a memory issue getting past 21 streams with the 4000 ADAs on Windows, and I'm very curious if that is a limitation of the card or some sort of driver thing or Windows 11 issue. And I'd like to test that on Linux if possible, but that requires me to get Linux to work.
The ADA 4000s are you get 21 streams.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be concerned about it if if it was a lot slower after 21 streams, but it just flat out gives me a memory error and crashes if you do anything more than 21 streams, which I've never seen before on a card. I've pushed cards quite far, and sure, it will like degrade performance excessively, but it won't crash.
I regularly crash my cards with out of memory errors. So.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Actually, the Titan benchmarking software looks for out of memory error. It's like it just because if you go up to a lot of the cards fall off real quick. Like you only need to do 2 more than like what it's capable of, and it'll just run. So.
Okay, well maybe it's just a limitation of. It's interesting because I got 3 different cards and all of them can do the exact amount of streams, but I know certain people with 4000 ADAs are able to push them a little more. So
are they increasing their clock
curious.
speed? Are they overclocking the card?
I don't think so. I don't think Beery's overclocked anything, but who knows?
Because yeah, like I haven't found any card that can do roughly more than 24 streams around there. The only one I could find was the M60, which was a Tesla card that could do like 28 streams, but that's because it has 4 decoding and 4 encoding chips. But it does it very slow. So.
Yeah, I mean that ADA card that 4000 that Ben's talking about though, it has 20 gigs of RAM on it. So I mean it's not the consumer cards. I mean I know you're talking about a Tesla, but I could see it maxing out at a certain point, but I don't imagine it running out of memory on the Livepeer bench.
Yeah,
And I've never seen that card get close to it.
Watching the task manager, the only thing that looks like it maxes out is the encoders, not the memory. The memory like doesn't go past 7 gigabytes during the benchmark, and there's 20 in there, so just seems a little weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just always found that like no card, like I don't know what it is about the NVIDIA architecture, but it seems to like they all seem to max out around this like 2024 mark. So I don't know. Yeah. The memory error, I don't know. I just assumed that was actually the encoding chip throwing that error, not the actual memory itself, which seems counterintuitive, but I think this is why they have limitations on well, the A4000, that's not a consumer card. That's a commercial card, right? That's like a professional card.
Right.
So you don't even need to patch that card, right?
Right. That's how we managed to test it on WSL2 because consumer cards, I can't get the patch to work.
Right.
So it was the only one that worked. But yeah, it threw me back a little bit. Just building like a server build that has Linux compatibility issues but works fine with Windows. It's just bizarre to me.
Welcome to backwards land. Windows, you finally won one. If you
right,
you finally won one of these battles. So there you go. Yeah. Don't know. With WSL2, I'd used it for the AI work jobs. Seems to work pretty good. Otherwise, I just use the Windows binary. So I think you're kind of treading this one alone there, Authority.
I walk a lonely road.
Ah, yes. Green Day reference. Very good. Sundara, database issues. Tell us what your issues are.
So to be honest, I'm not entirely sure if it's related, but others in the orchestrating channel suggested that it might be. So my node has Grafana set up for all of them, and Grafana reports the winning tickets. And my transcoders use a different wallet, and I actually see the transcoders claiming the tickets. However, the Discord bot, the Telegram bot, none of them, and even my orchestrators, I never see anything in the logs about the tickets being claimed. So I'm just wondering if others are seeing that issue, what this issue is about, because it's been going on for over 2 weeks now. So by my math, I've well over 25 tickets that haven't been claimed. So, and I restarted all my nodes to rename the old DB, restarted all the nodes, so it recreated the DB, but no tickets are being claimed. So I'm just trying to understand if others are seeing this.
But you're actually the tickets are redeeming. Like you're you see the balance going up in your wallet, or the wallet shows in your it shows that
Does
tickets being cashed.
Arbiscan show it?
Arbiscan shows it for the transcoders, but Livepeer CLI is not reflecting it, is what I mean, because that's where I look up the wallet balance.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering. I just was curious to know if it was at least if you're getting credit for them or not, because I was having an issue where I had a few that wouldn't cache at all, and there was a error with the creation date and the rounds not matching, and those just were like those. There was nothing I could do about those, so those didn't cache at all. But I was curious to know
So
if yours were actually
what does it
caching.
mean if I can see my transcoder wallets claim them, but my orchestrator wallet seems unaware of it? What could be going on there?
Well, your orchestrator wallet, I mean, you're using the like a dummy wallet or whatever we call it,
Yeah,
to
for
claim
the
the tickets,
transcoders.
and that
Yeah.
right, and those are showing, and they're successfully going through. I mean, you see like the
Yep.
well, the orchestrator wallet wouldn't show it, but it's the payout bot should still pick it up. I mean, most of us
But
are
the
running that
orchestrator
way.
wallet would log it, right?
Like, are you not seeing it on the Explorer?
Yeah, Livepeer Explorer. Does it show? Because on the history, it has the tickets redeemed and it shows the rewards claimed. Does it show there?
I haven't looked at that today. Let me just pull that up.
And the bot should pick it up. We just use the graph there.
Yeah, both the bots, the Discord and the Telegram bot, haven't been picking it up, and that's why I started concerned as to.
That's strange. So if you have the ticket or the transaction, then I can look into it.
I mean, I do see a redeem ticket on the 20th showing.
Does it show one today? Because there was one claim today.
I do not see one from today.
Okay. The Explorer's being really slow right now.
Yeah, well, that always is. Hey, speaking of the bot, Rick, I think you did some work on it recently. Like I know you added the AI inference information on there.
Yeah.
I noticed also now that it shows minutes that were transcoded, and it's now not just a same number for everyone like it used to be. I mean, it used to be. It seemed like it was just tied into how much if you had max face value, it would show like a lower value for the minutes transcoded. Did you make a change that does a different calculation to figure out the minutes transcoded?
Yeah, Adam pointed me to that problem because in the old bot software we used like a standard price for all the transcode. So that's why everybody got the same price, but in the end everybody has a different price on the off-chain advertised, and every ticket is therefore different value in that end, or the minutes change. So what we did, we are currently pulling the prices, the less known prices from the score API. So that's something that the studio and the broadcaster tracks, I think. And that will get used to get an estimation of the transcoded minutes for the
Okay, so if you
orchestrator.
see, sorry, so if you see someone that has a lot more minutes transcoded, you can kind of make an assumption that they have a lower price than someone that had fewer minutes transcoded with the same payout.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
So that's I can give you the pull
Right.
request where I did this. It's not, of course, not 100% accurate because you can dynamically
No,
change
I
the
was
price.
just curious to know what you said already makes already gives me everything I was curious about. So that's fine.
So would it help
Unless
if we
anyone,
state the price with the estimation of the minutes?
wouldn't
It's an
hurt.
easy fix,
I
but
mean,
Yeah, but
yeah,
didn't
I mean,
Hunter
I would,
actually argue against that back in another water cooler chat, saying price is something that's sort of
Avi,
not
we want
something
to
that they
see this.
wanted to show?
No, that's I guess that's a decision for Livepeer if they're cool with it or not.
So yeah, I made some changes on that. So that's one of the changes is indeed that it's a little bit more accurate about like the estimated minutes. The other change is that we look for the IE tickets and we filter those. So currently we do it based on the broadcasters that we know. We have Marcus broadcaster in there. I think Brett's I wanted to add there, and we have the own broadcasters from our side. But that will get fixed. I hope to fix that before the release that we send data with the tickets possible, and otherwise it will be in the month after that. So that every gateway that joins, it will pick up the IE tickets instead of the transcoding and make it a little bit different in the bot, distinguish it.
Can you allow arbitrary data to be added to that as well? Like, for example, the region in which it's running, because that would be helpful to know where, what parts of the world that these tickets are being sent and cashed from. Just as a thought.
I think it's possible. So I looked at this a little bit. We don't want to change and do any protocol changes, of course. So, but there's the aux data field. I don't know if you know it, Mike. I think maybe you.
Yes, aux data. That's part of the ticket.
Yeah, correct. So you can put, I think, a lot of data in there, and it will. You need to encode it a little bit because it's in binary, if I remember it correctly, there, or bytes. But you will be able to add this information as well in there if we want.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's quite neat. So first I start with just saying like the job type there. I have to discuss with the team how we want to have that labeled. I can also maybe it would be nice to have some feedback from you guys as well there. And after that we can add, I think, whatever we want, unless yeah, of course we don't want to make the data size too big, but and just add everything.
More data, more gas.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so I just checked Obiscan and the Livepeer Explorer. They do seem to sync up. So I suppose it's just an issue with the Discord and Telegram because they're not showing the payouts.
So
Well, at the end of the day, the fact that it's going into your wallet and you're getting paid, that's a good thing. Whether or not you get the vanity of seeing it in Discord, I guess kind of stinks, but you're not losing money.
Yeah, actually, it was more the vanity because I depend on that to sort of understand when I receive tickets. So that's my concern.
So I can look into it. It's a quick look into if you send me the transaction there. I think if it's on the graph, so I think we use the graph there. So that could be a problem with the graph then. It's not indexed correctly.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay, let's keep going on. Papa Bear, you have an update around the Cloud SPE and an alpha release. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, sure. Let me try and get back to the chat here. I was looking through the payout bot. Okay, so yeah, as the for the Livepeer Cloud SPE, we are going to, or I mean, it's I guess technically it's in alpha right now, or very early alpha. We've added a gateway that allows for AI work to be done. And what we currently have, and I'll put a link to it right now, is a UI that we're calling Dream Playground, which is based on Stability AI's open source Stable Studio. And we've created a plugin for it so that you can use Livepeer's AI network subnet to process your jobs for no cost as of now. And let me get those links in there for you. Again, it is alpha, so not every feature in there is currently working, and we plan to add quite a bit more. Let me put the link in if anyone wants to check it out. So it's a UI again, and it's plugin based, and you can, and then we've got a link that you can go in, or sorry, you can add our you can use the Livepeer cloud gateway to pay for your jobs and process your jobs, and so it's again, it's a UI, but it also it has the you could also build another UI on it and still use the plugin to interact with with the Livepeer AI subnet. So there will be more stuff coming out about it. It is all open source, and I'll give you a link to the GitHub, both the one that we've built for the cloud and the official Stability Studio one too. So if anyone wants to check that out, build on it, give us comments on it. Love to hear them. And that's, I think, pretty much it. I mean, like right now, just so some of the limitations are that you can only choose preset image sizes. We did add a box to put in custom sizes, but that's not currently working. Probably will be in the next day or two. And we will be also adding, video generation to it as well. But it is up and running, and again, love to hear people or love people to try it out, tell us what they think, and hopefully build on it going forward. Any questions?
Just to add a little bit more to what Papa Bear is saying is, we see a lot of folks generating UIs today, like playground UIs. Marco has one, Titan has one. We've been playing around with our own, and we realized that a plugin system would be the best way to allow multiple UIs to interact with the gateway with a common code base, so that we're not all implementing the same plumbing, the logic that goes into formatting the AI job. So having that API that anyone can leverage on top of their UI would be a nice way that we're not all duplicating effort. We really want to focus on making a good experience, but not not having to deal with all of the idiosyncrasies of dealing with the API directly with the broadcaster. So it's definitely not perfect, but it might help reduce the burden of new development for UIs to come on top of the platform. So just a little background.
Yeah, I think you did a really good job there. I really love it that we have one UI there. And you already showed to me it a little bit some days ago, and I was really excited about it, and still am. So thanks a lot, Papa Bear and Mike, for ending that.
Yeah, and
And
hopefully,
it's go ahead,
I
Papa.
was going to
Sorry.
say, hopefully for Titan, when we get to the video part, we will have the ability to adjust the frames per second. It's something that you would just have built in. You don't have to go searching around and figure out how to do it. It'll all be there, and you can put your UI right on top of it.
Dude, that's amazing. Really, really cool. Yeah. Question though. So the dream.livepeer.cloud. This is the generative stuff, right? What is the dream.gateway? Oh, it just goes to
It's
a
the plugin.
It's just a 404 not found, so I don't know.
Yeah, you don't click on the gateway when you go to dream.livepeer.cloud, and the gear in the top right hand corner, you need to specify a Livepeer gateway to point to. So we made it that we put our own gateway available so folks can use it for free and not have to spin up their own broadcaster. So if you wanted to or gateway node. So if you wanted to use it, you could use the Livepeer Cloud's gateway for free, but leverage it in that UI.
I'm curious if anyone's tried it. Does it populate and work for you, or because that UI, the gateway URL should be in there by default, and if not, we need to fix that because we actually changed it to a different gateway this morning. So if we inadvertently broke something there, someone please let us know because we may have it cached on our machines. And
I think
Well,
it was the Chicago node showing for me.
oh, is that what you were showing there? Okay,
Yeah.
because I was getting that as well, and I thought maybe it was cached, so I went in and changed it over. So we may have to take a look at that. I mean, we literally changed that a few minutes before the water cooler. So
The generating of the images doesn't work though. Like it just shows a blank screen after. Like there's no tiles.
try putting, if you go in and put the Dream
Dream
the
gateway
listed there, that will fix that.
I did, and
it's still not working.
yeah, I put that in there, and then went back to generate, click Dream, and it just kind of it like shows up for a split second, and then the tiles go away, and it's just kind of blank. Let me check the console.
That's not a very good demo. That's not a very good first impression.
Accessing to hold on, I have a double slash in there. I have to get rid of the trailing slash from the link. There you go.
I know it works because this is how I tested to see if we had any safeguards.
No. It was literally just
new data information earlier, and it works. So
if you copy the exact link you put in, it has a trailing slash. You have to get rid of that.
Let me fix
Yeah,
that right
you got to put the tick marks in, Papa Bear, because it's trying to make it a URL that you can click on, but it's not a URL. Just put the tick marks without the trailing slash.
Yep.
Right.
There you go. Yeah. So
they're not there in the original.
The funny thing about it was we started calling it Studio. So we were like studio.livepeer cloud, and then it was like, wait a minute, we got Livepeer Studio, we got Livepeer Cloud Studio. Like there were too many things that were overlapping with livepeer.org and Livepeer Studio. So we dropped the entire name Studio and we started calling it Dream and the Dream Gateway. So it was horrible. We didn't even think about it till earlier as we were playing around.
That's right. Like, literally, that's why we were changing
no
it.
good.
Like last
thank
minute.
you.
Yes.
I'm just gonna keep saying thank you because, oh my god, if the name Studio was in here, I'd be like, oh no.
Yeah, that was really bad. I just figured it was, it was funny because we didn't even think about it till we've been working on this for the last like week or so, and maybe 2 weeks. And then I realized, whoa, Studio can't use that name.
Oh, this is looks the demo is just amazing. This is awesome.
And another cool thing is it actually stores all the images in your browser, so you could really run this serverless. Mike could probably tell you more about it, but I thought that was kind of cool that you can keep coming back. Your images are there.
That site is serverless as you speak. So I deployed it to Cloudflare using their Pages framework, which is you upload your static assets and there's no server running behind it. So it's really cool because again, when people start talking about privacy and corporations mining their customer data and looking at information, looking at their data, this stuff is the prompts go into the AI network. Obviously, the Livepeer AI network has access to the prompt and the image, but once it's downloaded to your browser, it goes away. So you don't really have any servers holding or storing any of your personal information. So, and a lot of these sites do that, but it stores it in your browser. You can keep generating as much as you want. Obviously, you can clear your browser cache and you can delete that stuff out of there if you don't want it stored there, but it's definitely privacy centered.
I was trying to use in your guys's thing. I'm trying to use my gateway node. I put my gateway node in there.
You're gonna have to make sure that your gateway, allows cross origin, right? The cores support. So by default, browsers won't let you fetch data. So if you go to your gateway and you put the the dream.livepeer cloud URL in your allow list, it should work without
Yeah.
problems.
No, yeah, I just realized that. And what I did is I just built an API and I just opened it on a separate port and then allowed that open with cores. So that's how I did it. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, so my actual gateway is not open, but the APIs are open to cores.
Cool.
So I mean, like, yeah, it's not a good thing, but I was just throwing it all together. What I built was more of just like a weekend project. I was like, hey, this is really fun. And then I see what you guys are building, and I'm like, mine sucks.
Nah, we have I played around the same way. If I sent you the version 1 that we built, it sucked too. So it was like, oh wow, this is terrible. I was like, there's got to be a framework out there that we can just leverage to do this kind of stuff. And the fact that Stability AI uses this for their commercial product and they've open sourced it and they have, an army of people working on their platform, I figured it might be good to look at it and see how we could infuse the Livepeer AI in it.
Yeah. No, it's excellent product. Looks great. Cool. All right. Let's keep going on. We got a few more topics and then we'll end it. Is John here? John, you had some hardware questions and a topic. Do you want to dive into that?
I'm trying to remember around building the AI subnet, right? Yeah, so I've been tasked with helping out with the AI subnet project, and so I'm actually kind of new to this. Everyone's kind of already up to speed and has got AI models running and all this. So looking to get caught up, and this evening I'll be getting the AI subnet Docker containers running, and you get a development environment going. But it was mostly just getting into the discussion and trying to hear what development's going on and what issues people are having. I'll probably need some help myself later on this evening, but Rick has done a great job with all the documentation. So no particular question there. So I'm just getting started with it.
Very cool. Yeah, no, if you have any questions, I'm sure we can try and help you, but otherwise we are not far behind, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it sounds like we've been at this for around about a month or two. The development's been going on for longer than that, but it's amazing how much progress has been done so far.
Yeah, we've been spinning our wheels pretty quick. I got a little burnt out. I took a bit of a hiatus, and just been doing other things. But yeah, no, it's an amazing. The narrative is there for it. I think the things are just ramping up in this space, and I'm happy Livepeer has got an angle on it, which is good. And I think we've got a pretty good team of people like Rick and other people that are joining that are going to be able to build something quite reliable. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we are very fortunate to have Rick. He's pretty much the best lead you could have, in my opinion. And so what I'll be looking at is this challenge around loading multiple models across GPUs is one of the first things we'll be collaborating with team on and trying to figure out a solution to as we move towards our May dates as well.
And when we get a chance, we're going to throw Rick a party, so it'll be perfect.
Thanks for the kind words, but I think the biggest part here is just the community. How much hours you already spent helping me, giving me feedback, and so I'm just really happy that we have this very close community here.
Yeah, it's great. Speaking of community, I do want to make one quick update. I've been looking into more ways of paying community developers from the treasury. So this is something that I'm still exploring. I've been talking with Doug, and I had a meeting with Superfluid and their product with Rich, and how that could potentially work. So I'll give a quick update here. Basically, there's really so Superfluid. For those of you who don't know, it's this idea of streaming crypto So it's you get to deposit, you approve tokens from one side, some sort of wallet or treasury or safe, and then the tokens get streamed to a person through the superfluid smart contracts, and then they have a UI to manage all this. So I got whitelisted onto their platform to use their streaming product. Now it's going to be very clunky if we go with their default setup for trying to work with our treasury, because it would require the treasury to do an approval action of spending Livepeer tokens. So their smart contract would have to approve the token spend of the treasury, which itself is can maybe controversial for a treasury to be approving spend. But in doing so, by default, I talked to Doug, and I think I'll get him to mention this, but it sounded like it was going to be a large amount of work to get the treasury to approve token spend. So I'm not sure if that's even a default thing that the treasury can do, or it would you'd have to rewrite the contract for the treasury, or if it's just a UI problem and getting people to approve such a transaction. So, superfluid is going to be difficult. They don't have the ability to send funds back to the treasury, so you'd have to approve the tokens in the treasury, stream it to a multi-sig, and that multi-sig would have the guardians, and they would have to restream it to the end developer. So you still have the ability for the guardians to steal the funds, but it's kind of clunky. It might not work great with our treasury, but Superfluid, they're a really good team, and they have a really interesting product. So we're going to continue down the path of like how we can make it work. But so the only way I could see this working is if we just have a community developer SPE that just requests tokens from the treasury. So you dump 50,000 tokens into an SPE. That's a multi-sig treasury, and then from there, it's just a more nimble account that can do all types of superfluid streaming to developers, right? So that's going to be very difficult. The other thing is, like I said, I built this. I had a friend build the smart contract that goes straight from the treasury into a smart contract, pays the developer. Two guardians can reverse it directly back to the treasury. So far, this still seems, in my opinion, to be the best way, which is just a smart contract that works specifically for the Livepeer treasury. And the audit is $1,500. So I'm probably just gonna go and spend the money to get this audited, and then then we have like a smart contract built for the treasury that works the way we want it to work. Just as an example. So, that's kind of an update with trying to stream Livepeer tokens to developers, and having the community have a say, and keeping that developer accountable and accounted for, but also having the protecting the treasury and the community from getting scammed or out of their tokens or something like this, and having it all trustless and decentralized. So yeah, it's been a fun little deep dive. So yeah, that's that update. Does anyone have any questions on that? Yeah, it's pretty uninteresting. It's just like governance stuff. So, but anyway, I'll do my best. If anyone wants to provide feedback, that'd be great. Because I don't want to start going down a path that people think is a bad idea. but this kind of seems to be the way to go so far. So I'm going to kind of keep trudging down that path. The audit should take about 2 months, and then we'll I'll put forward a proposal to the Treasury to hire Brad at that point, and see if the interest is still there, and whether people like the audit of the smart contract and trust it, and want to go ahead with the route of going that way. So cool. With that being said, I think we've covered all the topics. Just looking through here. Just a reminder, LID members, Livepeer Innovator DAO members, please, we have a meeting tomorrow around the voting process for the round 1 retroactive funding. Please arrive at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Discord. We're going to be going through the voting process. We're going to be making adjustments. We're going to be talking about it. And this is probably the most important meeting, because all the work we've done to get all the applicants, now it's our time to actually reward and figure out and organize a plan on how much we're going to distribute, who gets what distribution, and kind of go through that process. So please arrive for that so we can cover as many questions as possible and work through it. So if you're part of the DAO, we'll see you there. Otherwise, does anyone else have any more topics or questions before we finish up?
I wanted to chime in if I could really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm looking forward to the outcomes of the Innovators DAO. I'm really excited about it, and my team is excited about it. I'm mostly excited about just the innovators aspect of it, and pushing the envelope of what's possible in the Web3 space. And with that said, we are definitely at the junction where we would like to, ask of the Livepeer community, like some volunteers to help join our team, 1 or 2 people as liaisons that, really know the Livepeer inner workings, so that we can figure out the best way on how to build our app on top of your guys' platform.
Sure. So you're looking for developers to come in and help with the plumbing?
Yes, because I have one developer, and he's asking a lot of viable questions, and the initiative that we're proposing is very ambitious and database driven. So we want to plan according to what's plausible, and the best way to do that is to work with you guys, obviously, because you have history and knowledge of how you prefer things to be connected and how your network already is working.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if anyone here is listening and they want to hop in and help Rumbling Thunder with his project, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, could you just elaborate on what you mean by database? What sort of databases are we speaking of?
Yes, the project is called the Greater app, and it is an app that has 4 functioning aspects. One is a onboarding gamification module that is based on educating people into the crypto space. The other is a minting aspect. Then there's a marketplace that is attached to what is minted. And then the 4th aspect would be a antivirus affiliate program that would act as the tokens that would allow people access to the gamification modules.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean that's quite a lot to take in. Do you have a post in the forum or something where we can sort of read this at length and get into details over that?
Yes, I have a newsletter that I've been circulating, and right now my team will have some more updates on our GitHub repo tomorrow.
Cool.
Awesome. Cool. Well, with that being said, we'll end it there. Thanks everyone for coming to today's Water Cooler Chat. We will, what's the ending? Sorry, let me do this again. Thanks everyone for coming to the Water Cooler Chat. where our mission is to become the world's decentralized and open video infrastructure. And great to see you all. We will see you all next week. Cheers.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate it.